If you were born in the 1990s, you remember burning a CD for someone you liked. You rewrote your AIM away message more times than you'd admit. You lost sleep over your MySpace top 8. You downloaded music on LimeWire, knowing exactly what you were risking. Then Facebook arrived, then Instagram, then TikTok. The world kept moving, and never once asked if you were ready. You felt it, you couldn't name it. And what it did to your psychology? Nobody warned you about that. Picture this. You're 14. You just made a MySpace page for the first time. Nobody told you what to post. Nobody told you what was too much. Nobody told you that what you wrote at 14 could follow you at 24. Because nobody knew. Not your parents. Not your teachers. Not the adults in the room. The internet was brand new. The rules hadn't been written yet, and you were the first generation to grow up inside something that was still figuring itself out. At the same time you were. That's not a small thing. During puberty, your brain was wired to feel every social signal at full volume. The limbic system, the part that processes emotion and belonging, runs at full speed, while the prefrontal cortex, the part that filters and slows you down, doesn't fully develop until your mid-20s, which means your brain at 14 was built to feel everything intensely, and not yet built to protect you from any of it. And that brain, that raw, unfiltered, wide-open brain, was handed a public profile, a comment section, a permanent record, a 2024 systematic review of nearly 20,000 adolescents confirmed what you already know in your body. Social comparison on these platforms was directly linked to identity distress, anxiety, confusion, a fractured sense of who you actually were. Older millennials were already adults when this happened. Gen Z never knew anything different, but 90s babies were teenagers, right in the middle of becoming someone, with no map, no rules, and no one who had been there before. Every comment felt like a verdict. Every like, or lack of one, is registered as information about your worth. You were learning who you were at the exact moment the internet was learning how to make that process as public and as permanent as possible. You had to figure out who you were in public. And the public had a memory. There's something that happened to this generation that never made it into the conversation. You were in middle school when the 2008 crash hit. You weren't losing a job. You weren't losing a house. But you were sitting at the dinner table, watching the adults go quiet in a way they never had before, and something landed in you that day. Not a thought, a feeling. Oh, so it can just fall apart. You didn't have words for it. You just filed it somewhere deep and kept going. Then you graduated, stepped into an economy that had recovered, on paper. But the floor felt different from what they'd promised. Housing costs had outpaced wages for a decade. Student debt had doubled. The math that worked for your parents simply didn't work anymore. And nobody in charge seemed to think that was worth explaining. Behavioral economists call this the scarring effect. When financial instability hits you during a critical life stage, it doesn't just affect that moment. It rewires what you expect the world to owe you and what you allow yourself to hope for. Think about the last time something genuinely good happened to you. A promotion, a relationship that felt solid, a moment where things actually seemed to be working. Was there something underneath it, quiet, almost imperceptible, that kept you from fully settling in? That's not a personality flaw. That's an imprint. And 90s babies didn't get one scar. They got a sequence. 2008, you watched. Graduation, you stepped in anyway. Then COVID hit right in the middle of the decade when careers are built and futures are decided. Then inflation. Then a cost of living crisis with no end in sight, no single catastrophe. just a floor that quietly kept rising every time this generation tried to stand on it. And what that does to a person isn't despair. It's something quieter, something that runs in the background of every good thing that happens to you. This probably won't last. You don't even notice it anymore. It's just the temperature of how you move through the world. That's not pessimism. That's what it sounds like when a generation learned to grieve their expectations before they even had time to form them. Before the profiles. Before the platforms. Before any version of you ever had to be shown to anyone. There was a self that existed in private, not because you protected it, because no one had thought to ask for it yet. 90s babies grew up with a hard line running through their memory. Everything before a certain age, undocumented, untagged, unarchived. Everything after, permanent. The memories from before live only inside your own head. No timestamps, no comment sections, no algorithm deciding what is worth keeping. Just whatever your brain chose to hold on to. A specific afternoon, a smell you can't name, the sound of a TV in another room, the feeling of a Saturday with nowhere to be, and no one watching. And then, somewhere between ages 12 and 16, the hard cut. Everything after that is documented, tagged, archived, searchable, available to scroll back to at any time. The memories before feel more real, not because they're more accurate, they're almost certainly less accurate, but because they're uncontested. There's no photo to contradict them, no status update to make you cringe, no version that had to be cropped, filtered, or captioned for an audience. Those memories aren't just nostalgia, they're the only record of a version of yourself that was never filtered through anyone else's reaction. The only self that never had to perform. And when that feeling hits, that pull towards something you can't quite name, you're not just missing the past. You're reaching for the last version of yourself that the algorithm never touched. You grew up in public before anyone understood what that cost. You built a future against a floor that kept moving. And somewhere inside all of that, you've been carrying a version of yourself that no one ever photographed. No one ever tagged. No algorithm ever decided was worth showing. It's still there. Not as a wound, as something quieter than that. A memory of what it felt like to exist without an audience. To be someone before the world had an opinion about it. Most people moving through the world right now have never had that. They were born into documentation. Every phase of their life. Captured, uploaded, reacted to. They've never known what it feels like to exist in a moment that belongs entirely to them. You have. In a world that is becoming more documented, more optimized, more shaped by how things look to other people, that memory is nothing. It's not a small thing to carry. It's the only thing the internet has never gotten to touch. If you were born in the 1990s, what's one memory from before all of this? Not a story, just a feeling. The kind that doesn't have a photo attached to it. Leave it in the comments. I'll read every single one.